Chairman's reply. Will the Chairman ensure that all recommendations of the school forward for members of this committee for ratification, or not, and that where decisions are made by the forum in accordance with their statutory authority, that members are told what those decisions are? Question 2, Councillor Alison Moore.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask the Cabinet Member how much has the Council paid out in refunds, and why does the lead member not agree to proactively contact residents earlier?
Thank you, Mr. Yes, I did instruct officers to act earlier, and it hasn't, not just recently that they've been acting, since day one, but proactively they've also been acting early on in the process. I don't have the figure at hand of how much has been paid back to date.
Councillor Brown-Salinger. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can the Chairman tell the Council if all of the victims listed are female, and if so, how many are male victims, and how many are victims of intergenerational violence? Councillor Daly.
I don't have that information, Mr. Mayor, and I have to talk with officers as to whether or not it's even appropriate to share that information.
Councillor Barry-Rawlings. Councillor Brown-Salinger. Mr. Mayor, can I ask the leader of the next monitoring officer will be qualified? Councillor Cornelius.
Well, if the new monitoring officer has any qualification whatsoever, that would be legally qualified. I assume you mean that he should have legal experience. In that case, I would expect that the monitoring officer would be a lawyer, but I don't think we should preclude another qualified applicant.
Thank you, Leader. Who do you hold?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The leader may answer your question.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Mayor. Who do you hold accountable for the failure of governance?
Councillor Cornelius.
I fully support the conclusions reached in Claire Lloyd-Jones' report.
Councillor Brown-Salinger. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I ask the Chairman to make clear to the large numbers of people who are now travelling 20 miles an hour zone around the borough, that whilst they will have the support of the council for their installation, it may be some time before they all get installed. Councillor Cohen?
Yes, not just 20 miles an hour, but any scheme that is progressed through making clear to residents how to do things.
Councillor Snyderman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This year, the number of appeals against Barnet parking tickets has gone up by 45%, and there are now more appeals against Barnet parking tickets than almost any other London authority, even more than in Westminster. Does Councillor Cohen accept there's a problem, and what is he going to do about it?
Councillor Cohen?
Yes, I do accept there's a problem, and officers are actively dealing with the problem.
All the other ones!
Park that one! Question 9, Councillor Brian Gordon.
I'm not seeking to exaggerate the problems of blue badge holders at Barnet Hospital, but I do feel that it should not be necessary for them even to have to report to reception once when you have their blue badges. Would you not agree that it is difficult enough sometimes for blue, not to support the council, it's generally consistent for blue badge holders to get their badges without being hassled even more once they've got them? Is there a possibility that you could contact on our behalf Barnet Council, Barnet Hospital regarding this?
Mr. Mayor, I was rather surprised at work today that one of my staff actually raised this problem as his mother had been dealt a ticket at Barnet Hospital. It's clearly a widespread problem, and I will write to the hospital trust.
Question 10, Councillor Napkin.
It's rather interesting that my question wasn't really answered. I'm sure we're all happy to hear that your friends have nothing to worry about. I was just £600,000 of fraudulent claims over a £13 million expense. I'll say to all those families that haven't made fraudulent claims, that have been unduly harassed by council tax collectors.
Councillor Cornelius?
I don't have any evidence that families have been inappropriately harassed.
Question 11, Councillor Brian Morgan.
Leader, have you actually written yet to the Environment Agency regarding the problem of the Edgware smell? And if you have, nothing to do with the councillors, and if you have, thank you very much. And if you haven't, would you please be aware that the considerable pressure put by the public on the company, the efforts of our councillors and working with the Environment Agency has now resulted in much more control being exercised over the reprocessing of compost at that site, and I'm pleased to report that so far the smell has very much subsided, if not been eliminated.
Councillor Cornelius.
Mr. Mayor, I've always thought that Edgware was a particularly fragrant ward. I think it is important that it should remain so. So I join with Councillor Gordon in this effort.
I have to declare an interest there, Councillor Cornelius. Question 12.
Being fragrant.
Councillor O'Barr.
I'm glad you believe in innocent until guilt is proven, but sadly this does not extend to how Capita is treating single-person households in our borough. Without any breakdown, residents being backdated notices, you asking for evidence. I've got one constituent who was direct debited £2,400 without proper notice while still in dispute. Does the leader agree that this harassment is unacceptable and that Barnet residents deserve better, deserve to be treated with respect, and this practice by Capita must be stopped?
Mr. Mayor, of course there is a code of practice that must be followed. If the councillor could give me a copy of the correspondence he's got with Capita, I will take it up.
Councillor Brian Morgan, question 13.
Councillor Thomas, would you agree that the plethora of beautiful trees and flowers now adorning our streets, as we see in Edgware, is an example of how environmentally conscious our council is?
Councillor Thomas.
Two-story block you put on your Memorial Park. Yeah. Why don't you shut your door?
Question 14, Councillor Edwards.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would the leader please confirm that the figure of 63.7 million given in his answer does not include the 14.8 million paid on the 1st of July to Capita, and I quote, for interim measures to provide critical services, and nor does it include the £16.1 million paid to Capita as part of the CSG contract for IT and back office infrastructure, whatever that might mean. So in fact, the council has actually paid over 94.6 million to Capita since the council outsourced services to this company, which is £31 million more than in your written answer. Will the leader kindly explain the difference?
Something to do with capital spend and revenue spend, but I will write to the councillor. But in the meantime, I'm sure the Contract Monitoring Committee will take it up.
Question 15, Councillor Brian Morgan. Leader, would you agree that trade unions, both at local level, we've experienced here, and at national level, are still far too politically motivated, often dominated by extreme left-wing influences, and only conservative administrations and indeed governments are incapable of combating them in the appropriate way?
You need to work with them.
Mr. Mayor, I give a short answer, yes.
Question 16, Councillor Deborah Kay.
Councillor Cornelius, from your written answer, I can only assume that just as you would agree to the one Barnet Capital contract, you couldn't have read the report of Fair Lloyd Jones, because my question was based on her findings of the staggering showing inadequacy or non-existence acknowledges local government law in Barnet. Staff in key roles in the governance structure in Barnet who are inexperienced in governance matters, and the equally inadequate legal advice from the private law firm who so enthusiastically ties into. You refer only to the committee proportionality scandal earlier this year, which brought the council to a halt, and which is just one failure of this dysfunctional, discredited council. So I ask, will you take personal responsibility for matters that are on record as taking place under the previous and current Conservative administrations, with yourself as leader, and agree to the challenge of all decisions that were made without due process, as described in the report, that puts our council at risk?
Mr Mayor, I would remind the councillor that she is part of this council and she needs to remember that. I think it is very important that we do take notice of a report that was prepared, but we need to be very careful and measured in what we do.
Before moving on to question 17, could I remind members, if they make short, succinct questions and short, succinct answers, that we'll get through the questions much more quickly. Question 17, Councillor Brian Gordon.
Councillor Thompson, nobody would suggest, I'm sure, that the school should not comply with national requirements. But what I'm really asking you is whether the council would in principle support the notion that faith schools should be left themselves to determine their religious syllabus without outside interference.
Councillor Thompson.
I fully support the school in making such determinations within the school.
Councillor Alison Moore, question 18.
No supplementary.
Question 19, Councillor Alison Cornelius.
No supplementary.
Question 20, Councillor Pauline Courtney-Webb.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A very short answer, so can I take it that no also now means never?
Councillor Cornelius.
Another short answer, no.
Question 21, Councillor Alison Cornelius.
No supplementary.
Question 22, Councillor Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I said in my referral, other councils do manage to find this funding. So where it says a subsidy for any part of the direct schools grant will need to be funded by reduction in another part, I wonder if the Fifth Committee League would find, at least identify exactly where that might come from, then we can move forward on this.
Councillor Thompson.
I'm quite happy to see suggestions behind as to which particular providers you want to see that come to.
Question 23, Councillor Alison Cornelius.
No, thank you very much. No supplementary, thank you.
Question 24, we're going to have difficulty here, Councillor Sargent. Question 25, Councillor Alison Cornelius.
No supplementary, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Question 26, Councillor Philip.
Yes, will Councillor Thomas agree to meet with me and officers to look at the possible use of the Mayor's High Street Fund for the benefit of East Barnet and Newbury?
Councillor Thomas.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Question 27, Councillor John Hart.
Yeah.
Supplementary.
Microphone.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah.
Newfangled things here.
That's not the point.
Besides household recycling, could the chairman enlighten me about A, the recycling level from commercial garbage, whether cleared by contractors or in-house, and B, what measures there are for recycling the contents of litter bins across Barnet?
Councillor Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Work currently ongoing on trying to implement recycling and within commercial waste, and that will come forward soon. And regarding litter bins on streets, I note Councillor Hart's suggestion, and I will discuss that further.
Question 28, Councillor Macaulay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Will the chairman agree with me that there's more to do in Barnet to pavements, and they will do more so that residents will be happy, taking into consideration set rates, prices, everything is equal.
Councillor Cohen.
So I don't
Could you repeat the question, please?
Well, the chairman agree with me that there's more to do with pavement and planter, taking into consideration with other works, so that there will be separate variables, everything equal.
The microphone keeps cutting out. The microphone.
More to do with
Yeah, there's more to do across the borough. It's a big issue. Pavements and highways, not just pavements, highways as well, across the borough, and all will be done on the easy.
Thank you very much indeed. Question 29, Councillor John Hart.
Yeah.
Could the Deputy Chairman please comfort me with an assurance that the needs of small, hands-on businesses, so fundamental to entrepreneurial Barnet, with their need for workshops, start-up premises, incubator units, term use, will not be forgotten in the redevelopments of Western Barnet?
Councillor Thomas.
Mr Mayor, I like the idea of commercial space, be it mixed light industrial space, being part of the regeneration schemes. And in the consultation that we have on entrepreneurial Barnet, we're asking residents and businesses what sorts of places and spaces they need to set up business, and hopefully the results of that will also tally with Councillor Hart's views.
Question 30, Councillor Rebecca Challis.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm rather shocked by the cost of catering, £8 per councillor, totaling at over 500 per council meeting on catering alone. It's rather a lot. Would the leader be willing to have a conversation
Send your sandwiches
with me
back.
regarding some very basic savings that can be made financially?
Place your biscuits back there.
Mr Mayor, I'm always interested in hearing savings. That would I would relish a conversation about savings.
Cutting down the opposition. Question 31, Councillor Finn.
That was supplementary question 30.
Question 30.
How many sandwiches did Councillor Eaton?
No. Question 31, Councillor supplementary. Question 32, Councillor Alton Moore.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Does Councillor Cohen think it's acceptable that residents in my ward and indeed in others receive PCNs for parking outside their homes when they had applied for, on time, a renewed permit, but had to wait for weeks for it to arrive and hence receive PCNs?
Councillor Cohen.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. No, it's not acceptable, and I hope Councillor Moore has taken that up with officers representing our residents.
Councillor Stock. Question 34, Councillor Rawlings.
No supplementary.
Councillor 35, Councillor Stock. Question 36, Councillor Langevin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Deputy Leader, you referred to secure tenancies. Please will you define these new secure tenancies?
Councillor Thomas.
Mr Mayor, the secure tenants will be housed in the redevelopment scheme. Non-secure tenants will be housed as close as possible, and so far, on average, have been relocated within 3 miles of the scheme, the furthest going to East Barnet.
Thank you. Question 37, Councillor Jones Scannell. Question 38, Councillor Snyderman.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Not only are parking appeals up by 45%, last year Barnet lost 60% of the cases that went to appeal. In fact, when I visited the parking appeal service recently, Barnet lost 4 cases in a row, including one where the council failed to actually supply any evidence. Can Councillor Cohen accept that this is also a problem and explain what he's doing about this problem?
Councillor Cohen.
It's all linked in, and it's all part of the piece of work that's been carried out.
39, Councillor Jones Scannell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to congratulate Councillor Helen Hart for promoting
Oh, that's sweet.
and ask how much did the Edgware pop-up shop cost, and does she think it was good value for money in getting the message across?
Councillor Helen Hart.
Mr Mayor, as the management of the Boardwalk Centre in Edgware most generously provided us with the space for it free of charge, we were able to provide a Get to Know Cancer pop-up shop there for a total of £24,500 for the 18 days that it was in operation. And yes, I do think this was an excellent use of our dedicated public health funds. Not only did we have the 1,547 visitors and 72 referrals for follow-up investigations as a result of it, we also had the most positive reaction from the Hendon Times Group, both prior and following the official launch on the 30th of September, all of which heightened public awareness in Barnet of the fact that cancer is treatable, even beatable, and most importantly, preventable in the 40% of cases that are caused by lifestyle choices.
Question 40, Councillor Nagby.
No supplementary.
Question 41, Councillor Bridget Perry. 42, Councillor Orbach.
I will try to leave the details as discussed earlier. But on this question, I'd like to ask, how can this be true? That given that the promised increased revenue collection, can the leader tell us how the methods they undertake have changed to achieve this? They cannot be the same as they were before.
Councillor Cornelius.
I'm assured they are the same.
Question 43, Councillor Bridget Perry. Councillor 44, Councillor Paul Edwards.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately for Councillor Cornelius, your confidence that Capita is delivering improved service is not shared by everybody in your group. One example of this is Councillor Seal, who on the 30th of October tweeted someone called Robert Rams. And I quote, sorry Robert, I'm having problems with my email. I will reply when Cracketer fix my machine. Like many of us on this side, Councillor Seal clearly feels that the £16.1 million paid by the London Borough of Barnet to Cracketer for IT improvements is turning out to be a very poor investment indeed. Would you like to comment?
Mr. Mayor, I'm slightly relieved that Councillor Edwards hasn't had access to some of my emails. There is but clearly there is much work to be done on this system. I did believe it was improving until a few weeks ago, but it seems to be fairly spasmodic. I'm assured that the awful pile of servers next to the canteen in the council will be eliminated from use shortly, and we should see substantial improvement thereafter. However, it is extremely frustrating for everyone on the council, be they involved with the council, be they officers, members, or the public, trying to, and this needs to be worked through and sorted out. Councillor Edwards wasn't on the council during for the last 4 years, but the system we had then was not a byword for performance either.
Veteran 1994. 46, Councillor.
No supplementary.
Question 47, Councillor Maureen Braun. 48, Councillor Anne Hutton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No supplementary.
Okay, Councillor. Question 49, Councillor Joe Sargent.
Can I speak on
Supplementary.
the
Of course you may.
She would like to have a supplementary because of no voice. She can't.
I understand.
Say it,
Supplementary is?
Say it. Say it.
What is the supplementary?
Say it.
Speak on her behalf if you wish.
She likes to have a date as to when it will be done.
Councillor Cornelius.
I will ascertain that.
Question 50, Councillor Philip Cohen. Councillor 51, Councillor Macaulay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'm very passionate about this question. Will the council realise that the council has not got enough black history, taking into consideration my origin is from Africa, where I'm from slavery to it. I'm a Creole, and my local language is a lingua franca where all languages are mixed. My mother is from Trinidad and Tobago. And taking into consideration that William Wilberforce from Middle was one of the promoters for this integration of slavery, will the council recognize that? Thank you very much.
Especially considering that William Wilberforce was a good Tory.
He was able.
Councillor Alison Moore. Question 53, Councillor Barry Rawley. Question 54, Councillor Snyderman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Dean Cohen has failed to. He's referred to the wrong question in the answer, and the other question he refers to doesn't answer it anyway. Can he actually answer the question, which was, given Barnet doesn't contest a third of its appeals and loses up to 3/4 of the cases it does bother contesting, isn't it time to bring Barnet's shambolic parking service back in house?
As I said, the work has been
In my question, I described some real-life experiences that residents have had with respect to council tax collection, and the response I received was, "I do not recognise the scenario described." That's exactly my point.
Councillor Nackley, was there a question there?
Would you care to comment?
Councillor Nackley, Mr. Mayor, sorry, Councillor Nackley makes an interesting point. I mean, if I'm unaware of something, if he would tell me about it, then I will take action with the office is concerned. But as far as I'm concerned, I understand we're working to the same protocols we had before, and we are taking fewer people to court than before.
Question 56, Councillor Orbach.
They are not the same as before. This is an example. 8 years, going back 8 years, demanding information. So Cabinet is sending demand notices without proper covering letters, without proper breakdowns.
Councillor Orbach.
The point being, this is what myself and Councillor Nackley are talking about. We think this practice, demanding people keep records of the children's studies going back 8 years, and demanding this within matters of months, else being faced with thousands of pounds of bills for tax they do not owe, is unacceptable. Does he agree?
Residents of this borough have a good record in paying their council tax and paying it on time. If they don't pay it on time, then it is a burden on the rest of the community. It is very important that we recognise that. I would say, however, if there is evidence of something going wrong, please let me know. The council sends out statements of council tax every year and then follows it up. It can never come as a surprise to a resident when they have fallen into arrears.
Answer the question!
I'm sorry, but this is absolutely appalling. The leader of this council does not understand the questions put to him. He is just not fit for purpose.
Councillor Kay.
No supplementary.
Question 58, Councillor Rima Patel. Councillor Rima Patel.
I'm pleased that the leader recommended the appointment of those safety. Would the leader write to a major insurance company in order to procure some information, additional and more accurate information about claims made, particularly around the Clonford Lane area that is situated in my ward?
Councillor Cornelius.
Mr. Mayor, if Councillor Patel were willing to indicate a number of insurance companies she wants me to write to, a small number, then I would be very happy to do so, as that would be interesting, indicative information.
Question 59, Councillor Anne Hutton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Could you say why the assets and regeneration for Church Farm House Museum, it seems that the amount has varied a lot. It's gone from 21,000 up to 38,000 down to 6. This year it looks like being about 2,000 or 3,000. Could you say why there's been such a wide variation when it's the same company that is operating security there?
Mr. Mayor, I'll write to Councillor Hutton.
Thank you very much indeed. That concludes questions to the leader. Thank you very much indeed. The Chief Executive Officer will now present the reports at item 12.